Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another Mrdoctorwhofan13 first impressions video on Doctor Who Series 8, Episode 8, Mummy on the Orient Express, written by Jamie Matheson and directed by Paul Wilmshurst. Now, I know I'm late with this first impressions video, but, again, like I was with the Caretaker. But, you know what? We're nearing the end of the series now, so there's not many of these left. And once we're done, I'll probably get back to reviewing DVDs. I'm not taking requests at the minute, though, because I've already got a few piled up, so yeah. But anyway, Mummy on the Orient Express. Now, going into this, I had my fingers crossed that it would be good, because Jamie Matheson was writing 2 episodes for this series, and I'm thinking, God, if we have a new writer write 2 episodes for this one series, then it better be good. There better be good scripts. But kind of like But then again, I was hopeful because the new writers are usually good. And last time we had a writer write 2 episodes for one series. We had Neil Cross, and both of his episodes were good. The Rings of Akaten and Hyde. I know a lot of people don't like the Rings of Akaten, but I do. I love it. Anyway. Mummy on the Orient Express. At first, I thought it was decent, not bad, but I thought it was really entertaining, but I wasn't paying much attention to the writing, so I thought that it could have been better written. But after watching it a second time, I really, really liked Mummy on the Orient Express. Now, first things first, the plot of this story is that, basically everyone has 66 seconds to live. Because there's this mummy who comes and kills, the weakest, comes and kills everyone every so often, starting with the weaker people. And they have 66 seconds to live, and only they can see him. So, what happens is that, the Doctor and Clara obviously come to the Orient Express in space for basically a last hurrah, which I know a lot of people have said that it should have been a companion-like episode because it's only been a week since Doctor Who Kill the Moon aired. But I think Jamie Matheson, with his writing, handled it as well as he could, This was basically the last hurrah for the Doctor and Clara. Although you would have thought it'd at least take Clara a few weeks to sleep on it. But, yeah. So I'm guessing quite a long time passed between Kill the Moon and Mummy on the Orient Express. Because that's the only way it made sense, After a week, it's not long enough. So, anyway. First of all, Capaldi and Coleman were brilliant here, as usual. It was very interesting seeing the Doctor and Clara just sort of get separated and go off to do their own things. The Doctor, when they're alone, the Doctor, has seen this in previous stories, but he's just all intrigued about the mystery and everything, whilst Clara, she's sort of comforting in a way, she tries to be nice to people, and basically how she acts, it's just she's really kind, and it's interesting to see her act sort of the opposite way, how the Doctor is, not blunt, not anything. Now, not anything mean and nasty, just nice, and the Doctor, meanwhile, is his usual blunt and bitter self. And, Capaldi, once again, he is one of the best Doctors we have had ever. He's the best of the revived series, in my opinion. I said this in Deep Breath. Better than David Tennant, better than Matt Smith, and slightly better than Christopher Eccleston. He is, whether he's better than the first 4 Doctors or not, I don't know. He's on par with them. but he's better than all the revived all of the Doctors from 5 to 11. John Hurt and Paul McGann, it's a bit unfair because I haven't seen much of them, but yeah. Anyway, Capaldi, brilliant. Now, like Kill the Moon, because that was Peter Hallins's first script, there was a lot of classic there's a lot of references to previous stories here with Jamie Matheson, and new writers tend to do that. I'm expecting a few classic references in The Forest of the Night this week, but we had jelly babies and everything. The Doctor saying, "Are you my mummy?" to the mummy, whatever he saw him. And I can't really think of. Oh yeah, also that one pyramid that opened with Clara and that woman in the room alone together. When that opened, I thought they were going to bring Sutek back, so I was getting ready for a fangirl, and I was just like, yeah, Sutek, and it opened, and it was like, what a coincidence. But yeah, so I don't think that was really needed, but I suppose that is a bit of a reference to Pyramids of Mars, one of my favourite Fourth Doctor stories ever. The direction by Paul Wilmshurst was once again fantastic here. He also directed Kill the Moon previously. Paul Wilmshurst, he's one of the best directors, I think, of this series. He has a very unique directing style, and he's directing the 2014 Christmas special, so I'm looking forward to seeing how that pans out direction-wise. Now, my negatives with the episode, I can't really think of all that many, to be honest. Some characters, the supporting characters here, actually, I thought were pretty well written for what Jamie Matheson had. He tried his best to give them all personalities, although there were a few too many side characters, so some of them just sort of got tossed to the side. Some of them, could have had more screen time, but I liked them for what they were. This episode also kind of reminded me a bit of Voyage of the Damned. How the sort of a famous Earth object in space, because in that story we had the Titanic, and here we have the Orient Express. So yeah, although this story was 10 times better than Voyage of the Damned, which I think was overrated. But yeah, so that was a nice little cocktail back there. Now, when it comes to episodes, I don't really look much at the pre-release hype, but from what I hear, the singer Foxes, who appeared in this episode for like 10 seconds singing a slow jazz cover of Don't Stop Me Now by Queen, the full version of which is up on YouTube. It's a pretty good cover. Obviously nothing can top the original, but I find it better than McFly's cover, because that's just a copy and paste version as good as it is, so yeah. As for I suppose, yeah, I think I'm not really sure about the ending. I suppose it was just quick and sudden. There's a bit of a tacked-on explanation as to how the Doctor and Clara escaped, but it was interesting, to see a soldier and everything. There was a lot I liked about this episode. At the end, Clara basically lying to Danny and saying that she's stopped travelling with the Doctor. I was a bit confused at first about, when she said mission accomplished. I wasn't sure whether she said, yeah, I'm travelling with the girl, yeah, I'm stopping. Call me dumb and stupid, but anyway, we found out in Flatline that she lied to him anyway. I don't know why Clara lied to Danny, to be honest. I mean, pretty much the relationship so far this series, it could have been handled better, especially like in the Caretaker and everything. So yeah, the relationship between Clara and Danny. I mean, listening to the Caretaker sort of ruined it, to be honest. But I don't know. It's just, I'm really not sure about it so far, to be honest. Even after Flatline. But anyway, Mummy on the Orient Express overall was actually a really, really good story. I enjoyed it immensely. And Jamie Matheson, you had a good first script here, and I really look forward to seeing if you return in the future for more Doctor Who stories. And if Flatline wouldn't have aired, I would be saying I'm looking forward to see what you have in store. Next week with Flatline, because he wrote the next episode as well. But I'd give Mummy on the Orient Express 8 out of 10. Sorry if you can hear that in the background. I think that's my brother, but anyway. So I'll see you later this week for Flatline. Mummy on the Orient Express once again gets 8 out of 10. And I'll see you. I'm actually going to film that as this now. I'll see you next time for Flatline. Written by Jamie Matheson, directed by Douglas McKinnon.